If you've owned SCHG this year, you've probably asked yourself a question. Did I buy the wrong ETF? While other funds have grabbed the headlines, momentum ETFs have surged, and investors have been chasing whatever's working right now, SCHG has quietly fallen behind some of the other growth ETFs. And I'll be honest, even I had to stop and ask myself if anything fundamentally changed, especially after recently buying another growth ETF that's been outperforming it. So why haven't I sold SCHG? Why am I actually still buying it? Today I want to explain exactly why SCHG is still my largest growth position, why I added SPMO instead of replacing SCHG, and the one question I ask before I ever consider selling an ETF. Because I think a lot of investors are asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, is SCHG still a good ETF? They're asking, what's performing better right now? Those are two completely different questions, and understanding the difference can completely change the way you invest. Not just in SCHG, but in every investment you own. Hi, I'm Greg Hardy, and welcome back to the channel, and thank you for being here. We cover all things personal finance, investing, and building a secure financial future. So if you're serious about taking control of your money and also learning something new every week, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. It really helps the channel and gets this information to more people who need it. Thank you. If you only looked at this year's returns, it would be easy to conclude that SCHG just isn't the ETF to own anymore. After all, there are other growth funds that have delivered stronger performance, and when you see those charts side by side, it's natural to wonder if it's time to move on. But that's exactly how performance chasing begins. Investors see what's winning today and assume it'll keep winning tomorrow, even though history shows that's rarely how markets work. The reality is that every year there's a different leader. One year it's large cap growth, another year it's momentum. Before that it might have been value, dividend stocks, or semiconductors. Leadership rotates constantly, and the market has a way of rewarding different strategies at different times. The problem is that by the time a particular ETF has become the one everyone is talking about, a significant portion of its outperformance has often already occurred. That's where so many investors get into trouble. Instead of sticking with a well thought out strategy, they jump from one winner to the next, always trying to own whatever has performed best over the last 6 or 12 months. Then, when leadership changes, as it inevitably does, they switch again. It's a cycle that feels productive because you're always doing something. But in reality, you're often selling after periods of relative weakness and buying after periods of exceptional strength. Research has consistently shown this behavior hurts long-term returns. Dalbar's long-running studies have repeatedly found that the average investor tends to underperform the investments they own because they buy after periods of strong performance and sell after periods of disappointment. That's exactly why I didn't make my decision about SCHG based on 1 year's returns. Instead, I asked a much more important question. Has anything fundamentally changed about why I bought it in the first place? If you watched my recent video, I compared 5 growth ETFs and I added this one. You already know that the ETF I decided to add was SPMO. But one thing I was very clear about in that video is that buying SPMO didn't mean I was selling SCHG. In fact, I specifically said I wasn't planning to sell it. SCHG is still one of my largest growth holdings because I never viewed SPMO as a replacement. I viewed it as a complement. Buying one great ETF doesn't automatically mean another great ETF suddenly becomes a bad investment. And I think that's a mistake a lot of investors make. That's an important distinction because I think too many investors assume every new investment has to replace an old one. It doesn't. Sometimes the best decision isn't choosing between 2 great ETFs, it's understanding that they can serve different purposes inside the same portfolio. That's exactly how I view SCHG and SPMO. They aren't competing for the same job, they're bringing different strengths to the table. For me, SCHG remains my core large cap growth ETF. It provides broad exposure to some of the highest quality growth companies in the market, carries a very low expense ratio, has relatively low turnover, and follows a disciplined methodology that I believe can be held for decades. It's simple, diversified within the growth space, tax efficient, and predictable. Those are all characteristics I value in a long-term core holding. SPMO, on the other hand, brings something different. Instead of simply targeting growth companies, it uses a momentum strategy that seeks to own stocks demonstrating the strongest price momentum. That means the portfolio can change more frequently, Leadership can rotate faster, and the holdings won't always look the same as SCHGs. It's a different methodology designed to capture a different factor that has historically produced attractive long-term returns. I wasn't looking for another SCHG, I was simply looking for exposure to something SCHG doesn't specifically target. That's why I never viewed buying SPMO as a reason to sell SCHG. I viewed it as a way to make an already strong portfolio even more complete. Here's what I think most investors get wrong about underperformance. They treat it as proof that something is broken. But the truth is, every investment you own will disappoint you at some point. VOO has gone through years where it lagged other parts of the market. SCHD has had stretches where investors questioned whether dividend investing still worked. 𝐾𝐿 has experienced painful drawdowns that made people wonder if technology's best days were over. Even individual companies like Apple and Microsoft have gone through long periods of underperformance. And as incredible as Nvidia has been, history tells us it will eventually experience its own disappointing stretch as well. That's why I think investors are often asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, why isn't this ETF outperforming right now? They should be asking, has anything fundamentally changed? Those are two very different questions. Short-term performance is influenced by market cycles, sector leadership, investor sentiment, and dozens of factors that can change from year to year. Fundamentals, on the other hand, tell you whether the original investment thesis is still intact. For me, there are legitimate reasons to reconsider owning an ETF. If the underlying strategy changes in a way that no longer fits my goals, that's worth paying attention to. If expenses increase significantly without adding value, it's another reason to reevaluate. If the fund's methodology changes, diversification deteriorates, or it no longer provides the exposure I originally wanted, then it's reasonable to ask whether it still deserves a place in my portfolio. Those are meaningful changes because they affect what I'm actually investing in, not just how it performed recently. But 1 year of lagging performance, that's simply not enough. Every successful long-term investment has periods where it falls out of favor. If you sell every time that happens, you'll spend your investing career chasing yesterday's winners instead of allowing your investments the time they need to work. When I look at SCHG today, I don't see an ETF that's fundamentally broken. I see the same low-cost, diversified growth fund with disciplined methodology that convinced me to buy it in the first place. The recent performance hasn't changed that, and until the reasons I originally invested in begin to change, I don't see a compelling reason to abandon the strategy just because another ETF happens to be leading at the moment. Whenever I think about selling an investment, I ask myself one simple question. If I didn't already own this ETF, would I buy it today? If the answer is yes, then why would I sell it? The question has helped me avoid making emotional decisions more times than I can count because it forces me to evaluate the investment based on what it is today, not on what it's done over the last few months. Psychologists call this the endowment effect. We naturally place more value on something simply because we already own it, and the opposite can happen when an investment has recently underperformed. We begin to question it more than we should. By asking whether I'd still buy the ETF today, I remove that bias and evaluate it the same way I would if I were starting from scratch. I'm no longer anchored to my purchase price, recent returns, or the emotions that come with watching another fund outperform it. When I ask myself that question about SCHG today, my answer is still yes. I still believe it's one of the best low-cost, large-cap growth ETFs available. I still like its methodology, its diversification, and long-term approach. So if I'd still be willing to buy it today, it doesn't make sense for me to sell it simply because another ETF has had a better year. That's the framework I try to follow, not headlines, not emotions, and certainly not 1 year's performance. Over time, having a disciplined decision-making process like that is far more valuable than trying to guess which ETF will be the next short-term winner. The longer I invest, the more I realize that building wealth isn't always about owning the best performing investment. It's about having the discipline to stick with a strategy through periods when it isn't the best performer. Every successful ETF, every great company, every proven investing strategy will eventually go through a stretch where people question whether it's still worth owning. If you abandon it every time that happens, you'll spend your investing career constantly starting over instead of allowing compounding to do what it does best. That's why I still own SCHG, not because I think it's guaranteed to outperform every other growth ETF next year, but because I still believe in what it owns, how it's constructed, and the role it plays in my portfolio. Now, if that conviction ever changes, I'll reevaluate my position. But until the investment thesis changes, I'm not going to let short-term performance make a long-term decision for me. For me, successful investing has never been about predicting the next winner. It's been about staying committed to a sound strategy long enough to benefit from it. The biggest investing mistakes usually aren't buying bad investments. They're giving up on good ones too soon. Now I'd like to hear from you. If you own SCHG, are you still holding it, buying more, or have you moved on to another growth ETF like SPMO, 𝐾𝐾QM, or something else? And more importantly, what would actually make you sell an ETF you've owned for years? Let me know down in the comments. I read every one of them, and your comments often inspire future videos just like this one. Now, if you found this video eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who you think needs to hear it. And if you want more practical, no-nonsense advice on building wealth and securing your financial future, then check out this video here. And also, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.